So then the mindset, and that's a very good one, that, there's that kind of 80-20 rule that you get, 20% of your business, 80% of your business from 20% of your clients. Yeah. But, right, so the idea is saying, who are our clients? Who are our good clients? What is, not only who are they, but what's going on in their businesses?
Exactly.
Is, right, because something like the car industry, if you're depending on the car industry for the bulk of your business, and we can sit back on, a lot of businesses sit back on their laurels with that.
Oh, yeah.
And even me as a consultant, you have a client that's, using me to do, I'm like, you know what, I can't sit back on my laurels here. I have to really be looking, because it changes rapidly. Okay.
That's exactly it. Whether you're an individual consultant or whether you're a billion-dollar company, because two things you mentioned, and I forgot to follow up on this one, is it is interesting that sometimes what I find, it's really the companies that are doing well. It's that top tier of customers who want the fiscal checkup because they say, we want to do even better, and now's a great opportunity because driving that car again, the people that won't stick out their balance sheet and cough, that don't alternate between the gas and the brake on these things with it, they hunker down too much. The big people with cash flow are going to do one of my fiscal checkups, and they're going to take away the best people, the best customers. They may even buy or put that company out of business. Right. It is crucial out there. It's tough. It really is right now.
So you got to get out of your own way then and look at, we've got to really, we say we think globally, but a lot of times we don't. We get very stuck in our own little world. So you're saying, what's going on out there? What are other countries doing? Where is our competition? Yeah. So to really look at your customers to see how solvent they are. And I think that's a great place to start.
And that cash, cash isn't just king, it is emperor and more right now.
And having 6 months of that.
6 months visibility on cash. So
a rainy day.
Well, it's a rainy day.
Rainy day
also,
fund.
If you look at the end of each month, if you see what's changing, if you say, why are my cash projections off? What you'll find out is things were better than you thought and you need to change who you sell to or something, or oops, I was counting on continuing to sell things, just like the paper talked about. Right. Sales are down, so inventories are up. Businesses are going to have to almost immediately start slowing down. Right. If you have that 6 months visibility on cash month by month, you can't get much more basic than cash, and it can't be much more crucial because there's a lot of things you can work around, but if you don't have cash, you can't cover payroll. Right. And it is not much fun being a sole practitioner or an entrepreneur when you don't get paid and you've got 100 people and you pay your people and you don't take a check. Right. And I think you've got people in this audience who know exactly what I'm talking about, who've gone longer than they want to build companies. That's what made America great, these entrepreneurs that do the impossible.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people in the past depended on loans for that. And I have a close friend who had an engineering firm in a different state, and they were going gung-ho, had tons of business. But then, the economy started getting bad, and they were sort of living hand to mouth and didn't have the cash. And we're used to getting loans after loan after loan to make payroll. And, the banks said, no way. They needed $700,000 or $800,000 to pay off their expenses. They had this little thing going where they had it balanced down. It wasn't, they didn't have that cash. It was all tied up. But they stopped being able to get loans, with the banks collapsing all over the place. So that really
I hope this is.
Put them out of business.
I was going to say, I hope they were a success story like my inventory overage. But there's an awful lot of the failures because when you let your eye off the ball and don't know where that cash is for 6 months, it takes 6 months. You're right. It's the time. 6 months is enough time you can make changes. If you willy-nilly don't know what's going on and do it the way you used to, it's too easy to get in a box. And it is really turbulent out there. That's what everyone continues to tell me and what I hear.
And I'm sure it's what you're seeing constantly. Yeah. Right, so then they're really stuck. And then, what happened with this particular person, he ended up selling his company to a bigger operation, and they hired him to work for them. So he lost his kind of entrepreneurial spirit, but, got very caught up in just doing the work and loving what you do. And a lot of entrepreneurs are like that. They don't think about the fiscal picture. So the first point...
Because, you've given a perfect example of why I said the companies that are doing well are the people that do this. Your friend is the exact emphasis. That larger company was probably a company doing very well. They did the hard work to be fiscally fit. They found an opportunity because they had hunkered down and been optimistic. They alternated between braking and gas, and they found a great opportunity, and your friend was overextended.
Right.
The company's there, the people are alive, or most of them,
Right.
but they're now part of the other company. So that is exactly why I'm saying your friend probably needed to be more fiscally solvent, didn't, and the people that were are the people who profited.
Right. And that's the biggest, I read an interesting book a while ago called The E-Myth, and that a lot of people, go into businesses because they love what they do, and 90% of what it takes to have a good business is not doing what you love to do. It's really running the business, managing the issues, that there's so much more to it than that. I mean, they gave an example of a woman who loved making pies and was a great pie baker, and all her friends said, you ought to start your own business. And what turned out to be something she loved doing became something she hated, because she had to buy all the equipment, she had to, pay off the expenses for all the equipment, she had to get up at 4 a.m. to make, baking the pies all of a sudden became something that, and she didn't have the financial mindset that she needed. So then the next step is the diagnosis. So the checkup is who are your customers? Do you have the 6 months of cash handy? And then what's the diagnosis? So
go deeper. It's really, I'll look more like the financial package. How accurate are the financial statements? Is this a company where the information is forward-looking, on these things, or we're looking in the rear to see what's back there where we came from? Deeper, the idea is by going into a little more time, a little more effort to get the top 10 issues, you're more likely that you and I will find the 1 or 2 key items to really do, just because we've done a little more work. So it's more extensive, deeper, a little more time. Same thing, just more work. Right. Same speed.
But then you're diagnosing, this is where you're okay, this is where there are some problems. Here's the area where you've got to tighten things up. You have to pull back here so that you can get more money to keep yourself more solvent.
To reallocate for opportunities.
Here's what's going on with your customers. Let's project forward to see that this industry that you're depending on is not doing that well, or that this is becoming... the services they provide are becoming obsolete, and you have to, there are billion-dollar companies, as you know, that are providing services that are going to be soon to be obsolete. I was talking with a professional in the mail business, yesterday, and, that's, their whole business is dependent upon, mailings and things like that. Well, people aren't doing that as much. They're paying bills online. They're not buying up those services. So
you raised another really interesting analogy, and I've found whether it's an individual or a billion-dollar company, what very few people do, they don't know the 3 to 5 key metrics to run the business. Now I'm going to tie that into the restaurant business, because I actually helped a group in the Southeast. That's how I moved from the Southwest to the Southeast. And here's what I learned. Our people, forget the numbers that I helped them create. There were 5 things they wanted to know. Number 1, what do the cash register tapes say we sold today? Number 2, how much money went to the bank? Was the number the same? Always isn't, as you might know in cash business. Number 3, what were the labor hours? 4 was food cost, and 5 was waste. And people laugh when I tell this story. Look at one of these drive-through hamburger places or an upscale restaurant, and you'll find a bucket. And people toss in the cold French fries, hamburgers, and things like that you counted at the end of the day. I have been surprised that $500 million and billion-dollar companies cannot agree upon the 5 key things to track their business. It's almost easier to get the mom-and-pop store to do it because it's more understandable. When it's a big company, your billion-dollar company, they won't know. Now, the mailing people, I would guess one of those is how many pieces of mail came in yesterday, how much did we process, whatever those items are. Surprised to me how few people can tell you those 5. And the ones that are fiscally fit, everybody in there knows the 5 things that make or break the business.